Hello, brilliant minds. Welcome to Woodlawn Web Academy. Today, we're going to practice our multiplication of double-digit numbers using the lattice method of multiplication. Now, before we get started, let's review a few vocabulary words that we'll be using throughout the presentation. When I use the term double digit, I am referring to any larger number that is made up of two smaller numbers less than 10. When I use the term factors, I am implying that there are numbers that can be multiplied together in a multiplication equation, such as 2 times 3. Products are the answers to multiplication problems, such as 2 times 3, the product would be 6. And lastly, sums are the answers to addition problems, such as 2 plus 3, the sum is 5. Feel free to go back to the beginning of this presentation to review any of these vocabulary words. Now, this method is called the lattice method because you use a lattice grid to multiply. Lattice is the overlapping of line segments in horizontal, vertical, or diagonal patterns. You can see the overlapping diagonal line segments in this lattice fence, similar to one you might find in someone's yard. The lattice grid allows you to match up one-digit numbers to complete a basic times fact. Once you have completed all of the basic facts in the boxes, all it takes is simple addition to find the product for your double-digit multiplication problem. So let's begin by building our lattice grid. Start by drawing a large square. Then you will cut the square in half vertically and then horizontally. Now you have 4 separate boxes. Now you're going to use a diagonal line to connect one corner vertex to the opposite corner vertex. Make sure that you extend your diagonal all the way through the boxes to the bottom opposite corner. I like to leave some of my diagonal hanging off the end so that I have a place to put my final sums that I will add up later. Notice, now that you have your boxes split, you have 2 triangles, a top triangle and a bottom triangle. The top triangle is where you will put any numbers that fall in the tens place of your product. The bottom triangle is where you will put any numbers that fall in the ones place of your product. I'll label them with a T for tens and an O for ones. If you have a 0 or nothing in one of those place values, you would put a 0 in that triangle. Now that we have our lattice grid made, let's begin with the double-digit by double-digit multiplication problem, 45 times 27. I'm going to split apart the digits in my factors to put one digit over and next to each box of my lattice grid. I'm separating each number into tens and ones. Tens place, ones place. Then at the end, I'll be able to do easy basic multiplication facts. When you have your factors split up, you can start to find your basic multiplication facts by matching the number on top with its matching row on the side. This is similar to when we use the multiplication table to find the answer to a basic fact. Slide your finger down from the number on top while you slide a finger over from the number on the side. The box you land in is where you'll put the product of that basic fact. I like to start with the tens place digits since I read numbers from left to right or from largest place value to smallest. So I'll start with 4 times 2. My answer will go in this box. The product of 4 times 2 is 8. Since I landed in this box, I'll put my product of 8 here. 0 will go in the top triangle because I have 0 tens. 8 will go in the bottom triangle because I have 8 ones. Now I can move on to any of the boxes I want. I'm going to finish the top row. 5 times 2 is 10, and that product would go in this box. So 1 is going to go in the tens triangle, and 0 is going to go in the ones triangle. Now let's move on to the bottom row. 4 from the top times 7 from the side is 28. So 2 will go in my top triangle and 8 will go in my bottom triangle. My final box is 5 times 7. This product is 35. So 3 goes in my top triangle or tens triangle and 5 goes in my bottom triangle or ones triangle. Now I have finished all of the basic facts and my boxes are filled. To make things easier at the end, I'm now going to erase my factors on the top and the side, so that at the end, I know that I am finished with those numbers. The next step is to add up all of my numbers in my triangles, but I am going to add them up inside the diagonals. Always start with the bottom diagonal. In the first diagonal here, I only have 5, so my total sum for this diagonal is 5 plus nothing else, or 5. So I'm going to put the answer at the bottom of this diagonal. Now I'll add up the numbers in the diagonal above the bottom one. I have the numbers 0, 3, and 8. If I add those three numbers, I get the total of 11. Well, the problem with this sum is that it is greater than 9, and I only have one place value space at the bottom of this diagonal. So just like addition, when I have a sum that is greater than 9 and I carry any extra tens to the next place value, I'm going to do the same thing here. My sum was 11, so I'll put a 1 for my ones place below and carry the other 1 to the next diagonal above. Now I'll add up my next diagonal of 2, 8, 1 and my extra 1. This will give me the sum of 12. Again, I have a number bigger than 9, so I'll drop my 2 below for my ones place and carry my 1 from my tens place up to the next diagonal. My last diagonal at the top now has 0 plus 1. My final sum is 0 plus 1 equals 1. I now have a number at the bottom of each diagonal. 1, 2, 1, and 5. Guess what? The product of 45 times 27 is 1,215. We've now found the product of my double-digit by double-digit multiplication problem by doing simple basic multiplication and addition. We simply line the numbers up next to each other, and there we go. Now, please feel free to ask any questions of Mrs. Gilmore or a classmate as you continue to practice with this lattice method of multiplication. Thank you. Have a lovely day.